So somebody else was getting you guys started.
Oh, I think Kelley just got kicked off, but she'll be right back.
I think she did, yeah. Real quick, while we're waiting on her, Cheryl, go ahead and count back from 5 for me.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Beautiful. Sounds good. Is it Kimberly? Am I reading that right?
Yes.
Kimberly, if you'll go ahead and count back from 5 as well.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right. Kimberly, just keep in mind, because you're kind of in an open air environment, we're just going to need to make sure that you speak, you project a little bit to make sure we hear you. You sound fine right now. Just sometimes things can get emotional and people will tend to bring down their volume a little. So just make sure throughout the conversation that you're speaking full volume, like you're talking to somebody across the table from you, and we'll hear everything you have to say. Okay?
Okay.
Excellent. And if you're like me and talk with your hands, make sure you don't have any heavy jewelry or anything like that on, because we'll hear that if you hit the table. And then everybody, make sure you have your phone on silent, not on vibrate, because we will hear the vibrate from the phone.
Okay, I'm back.
Yay.
Sorry.
Hi.
Excellent.
I got kicked out by accident. I don't know what I did.
It happens. No worries. Do me a favor and count back from 5, Kelley.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Sounding good. All right. We got about a minute and a half before we go live.
Okay. So the name of our show today is Angels, Guides, and the Fifth Dimension. So if you guys want to talk about that too, we can mention that.
And we are live on Facebook.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Do you believe in angels or earth angels? What is the fifth dimension? Have you had an experience with your angels and guides you want to share?
And don't forget, again, when you're giving out the number, mention Voice America, because I get a lot of people that will hang up immediately when I answer the phone. So I don't want people to end up in the back of the queue. So make sure to mention that just in case, so we get everybody on.
Okay.
I feel bad when they hang up immediately before I have a chance to say anything. It's like, oh, I know that person wanted to get on.
Hello, this is Kelley and Cheryl.
Yeah, almost every time I'm like, Voice America, how may I help you? And it's like, oh, click. Like, oh,
Yep.
I bet you this was the right number. All right, we got about 20 seconds. When you hear the music, we will be live. All right, here we go.
Welcome to Seeing Beyond, Living Transformed, with mediums Kelley Eckhart and Cheryl Murphy. Over the next hour, you'll hear engaging conversations that will guide you in your own journey of personal growth and transformation. Now, here are your hosts, Kelley Eckhart and Cheryl Murphy.
Hello and welcome everyone to the wonderful show we have today. It's a very special show. We have the beautiful Kimberly Meredith with us today. We're going to be talking about angels, guides, and the fifth dimension. We're going to be talking a lot about her new book, Awakening to the Fifth Dimension. But first, I want to welcome all of you here today. It's very special to have you with us. We want to always thank Voice America and the Empowerment Channel. And when you call in today, we'll have call-ins later and we'll take questions through email. But first, I'd like to say good afternoon to my colleague, Kelley Eckhart. How are you, Kelley?
I'm great, Cheryl. Thank you. And thank you, Kimberly, for coming on today. We're so excited to have you. And before we get started, I just wanted to make a couple quick announcements. If you're on Facebook, there is a delay. So remember that. We're not able to see the comments. If you go to seeingbeyondradio.com, that's our website for the show, you can click on the button there. It's right at the top of the page to send us questions. And there's also the phone number to call in when we announce calling in. You can also watch the show live from our website now. I just embedded it today, so let me know how it works if anybody wants to try it out. Or you can keep watching on Facebook. It's up to you, but I just want everybody on Facebook land to know we can't see the comments until after the show. So the best thing to do is to go to the website and send us questions from there. That way we get your comments right away. All right. Yeah. And thank you, Kimberly, for coming on today. We're so excited to have you. We're so excited to talk about your book, about your abilities and just you in general, because you're quite amazing. And I can say from a firsthand, I guess, point or reference, because I was just recently at the New Living Expo that Kimberly brought me in on that and got me to come to that because she invited me and I tried it out and I loved it. And I went to see her healing abilities in person. And I've had these lumps on my throat since January. They were pretty significant. It was difficult to swallow my food. I've been waiting until June to go see a doctor to get cameras to figure out what it is. You know, they just don't seem to care regular health insurance sometimes. So I went up on stage. I was so scared. And Kimberly did her healing on me and put her hands on me. And I have to tell you firsthand, I mean, this was like, it was kind of incredible. It's not something you can see on a Zoom, right? This was like, I'm also can see inside my body and stuff like that. Like, I'm a visual person. So I was actually in my throat when she was doing this, and I was visualizing these lumps shrinking, and I felt them draining down my throat. I wanted to cough them out is what it felt like. It was such an incredibly weird feeling, but at the same time, an amazing feeling. And the next day when I got up to eat my breakfast, I had like no problems swallowing my food. Usually I have to drink a ton of water to swallow every bite, but I didn't. And they are pretty much gone. You know, I mean, I don't feel them anymore. So I know that she has an amazing ability. I'm a believer. And I just wanted to share that with everybody on the radio here, because I don't think I understood the ability until I saw her in person. So thank you, Kimberly.
Yeah. So Kimberly, before you say hello, I want to read everyone your bio. I just want to tell a little bit about you. I know there's so much to add, but not only are you an author of Awakening to the Fifth Dimension, but let me just tell you, Kimberly Eckhart is a self-taught medical.
No, Kimberly Meredith.
What did I say?
You said my last name.
Oh, did I say Kimberly Eckhart?
We just got married, Kimberly.
Sorry, ladies. Kimberly Meredith is a self-taught medical intuitive, trance channeler, surgical hands-on healer, and spiritual teacher with gifts of the Holy Spirit. She is also the best-selling author of the book Awakening to the Fifth Dimension, Discovering the Soul's Path to Healing. Kimberly is just such a joy. If you can meet her in person, I encourage all of you, whenever she's in your area, your town, please contact Kimberly through her website, thehealingtrilogy.com. And this book is available on Amazon, and I encourage all of you to get it. I just want to tell you, Kimberly, when I bought your book, I was holding it and I felt the energy. I mean, it has so much healing energy just holding this book, and so many lovely prayers. So thank you so much for bringing this to the world.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much. Wow. You guys are so beautiful. Thank you so much. What a beautiful interjection. and I actually really like the last name Eckhart.
Did you like that?
I did. Thank you, Cheryl.
I like it too. It reminds me of Eckhart Tolle. And I'm like, yes.
It does. It does. Well, maybe we're going to be meeting him. We're manifesting him right now. Well, yeah. Kimberly, tell us about your gift. I mean, just meeting you in person, knowing you, we've worked together with the 4 Earth Angels the last couple of years. It's been lovely doing those online events with you, but really tell people like who you are, you know, how this came to you. Was this a gift, or, you know, how you were able to channel this beautiful book that you wrote?
Thank you, Cheryl. You know, it's interesting. I started to tap in, receive healing gifts, I believe, as young as 6 months old. My grandfather had an obsession with his camera, and he was following me around, watching my eyes blink. And I was blinking at a very young age, and they didn't quite know what that was, but I was communicating with spirit then. And I would want to put my hands on sick animals. Mm-hmm. And I also was touched my grandma, who had moved from Iowa because she was suffering from chronic asthma and had bouts of hospitalizations, where the family was advised to move to the beach, Long Beach, so she could have better chances of breathing. And so I didn't know as a baby, when I would rub my hands on her chest, that I was healing her. So I was always doing a lot of rubbing my hands and healing then. And after my near-death experience was just a few years ago, I started blinking with my eyes and communicating with spirit and being told how to heal people again through my eye blinking. So I came into the world with communicating with spirit, how to do healings, even from a young age. So I believe I was destined to do the healing work that I'm doing right now.
I believe that too.
I believe it too.
Absolutely. Because I was being told as a young child how to heal. And the healings that I was doing as a baby were really, really outrageous. I mean, they were the first animal I ever healed was my dog, who had literally ceased and he was not breathing. And I put my mouth on him and I started bringing him back to life, and he came back.
Mhm.
And it wasn't me, it was spirit working through me and me just wanting to do that. But I pushed it away because I was told it was naughty. And so lo and behold, as spirit wants, who you are meant to be, it came back to me as a gift after my 2 near-death experiences I talk about in the book in 2013. I also had a lot of communication with the other side when I was little. I remember at a very young age, my communication with my paternal grandmother, I kept saying to her I was reincarnated, which fueled a lot of anger with my mother, which was interesting because my mother's mother's mother was a healer, but they didn't really want to, recognize, anything about that. But my paternal grandmother said I would write notes and leave them all around the house, saying very interesting messages, like, don't die, grandma, or different things like, I can see there was a little girl that had died in this house and I knew her name. And I would leave little messages around the house of her. So there were all these little different things that I would do. And so that would annoy my mother. So I started to push these things away. And as I got older, I kept wanting to work in hospitals. So I chose the work as a nurse assistant. And the first job I ever had was a candy striper at St. John's Hospital. And I remember just kept hearing, you need to help people. You need to take care of people. You need to be there for people. And that was the choice that I wanted to do in my life, was to help people. And anytime that there was someone dying who had HIV or something that was life-threatening, I don't know what it was. It was an obsession of mine almost. I wanted to be the first one to go in and help.
That empath side, that healer in you, right?
Incredible.
Yeah. But the things that was going on were starting to get very eerie, because a lot of times what was happening is doctors would call the code, or they'd say they're dead, and I would say no, and I would jump in and start doing CPR, and then their eyes would wake up, and the doctor would be like,
yeah.
And I'm getting goosebumps right now.
Yeah, me too.
Because nobody can say this person's not going to make it. They're not God. The higher court is the Holy Spirit. And I would have an intuition that would say to me, I was hearing, no, do it again. One more time, save their life. And I'm just a nurse assistant, but I knew that person was going to live. So I would jump on the person and do it more. And a lot of times I remember hearing spirit go in the room, wrap the person with a blanket, say the Hail Mary. And this is years ago. Never thought I'd become who I am now, a medium. And so this is why I say a lot of times to people when they come into me, because I get a very sick people, and they'll say, I've been told, Kimberly, I'm going to die and I have only a few weeks to live. And I'll hear, no, you're going to make it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know that when Kelley saw you in person, you know, I saw Kelley a little bit after that, and her eyes were full of light. Like I could tell Kelley had been touched too. So, I mean, your energy, and what was so lovely about that event at the expo was that you did a hands-on healing for everyone, you know? So even though you weren't working on us individually, you were working on us, you know? And so even at the end, when I got to see you in person and also Kat Divine, what a lovely message that I received, you know, just from you and from Spirit. And so I just want to thank you again for that. That was just lovely.
Thank you.
I have a couple. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was just going to say thank you. That I can't, you know, I love to take credit for that, but that is the energy of the angels and the Holy Spirit coming in and saying, give, you know, give this energy, give this healing, show your brothers and sisters the love and raise their vibration. Yes.
Thank you.
You just answered my question, Kimberly. You just answered it. So I wanted you I was going to ask you, you know, who are you communicating with through like your blinking of your eyes and when you're doing your healing and all of that? Like who do you think, or who do you believe? Like, can you share that with us?
Yes. It's definitely Christ consciousness, which is to me, as they're blinking, the Holy Divine, the most beautiful, miraculous, the most beautiful, miraculous energy that loves us so much. And it's just a bountiful, glorious energy. Angels that are the messengers of this energy, and the Virgin Mary.
I was going to say, I know, is the Mother Mary, I mean, you do believe in angels and guides, right, Kimberly? And then can we ask you, I mean, we're going to be here. There's so many things to ask you, but I know Mother Mary is with you a lot, right? Mother Mary works through you, as Kelley was asking. And I mean, you talk about her a lot, or your prayers or with her name. And every time you invoke or ask her to be here, it's just like, we all feel it. We just feel so much more lighter so she is one of your main, or with you always, or working with you always.
She is my main guide. She came to me when I was a child, and she came to me a particular moment when I was 9 years old. I had a particular incident happen to me, and she came to me and she rescued me. And since then, and after the near-death experiences, when I started going around and doing my, you would say, I don't really know if they're events really, but my work, she appears in front of me and through me, and I see her when I lay hands on people. Even today, I saw her come through. And always when I'm working with people, as I'm doing the hands-on healings, remotes, or whatever's happening, she appears.
And when you were doing my healing.
Yes.
So I smell, whenever I get the angels, roses. And that's how I know angels are in the room. And it's not necessarily roses, but it's a rose bouquet, like it's a floral smell, but mostly roses. And I've always, since birth, that's how I know when my angels are around, is the rose smell. And when you did that, I smelled the roses, and I was like, oh, it was familiar. Like, so I don't name my angels, I just know I have angels, right? So I just feel like that was so familiar, and I smelt that when you were doing it, and it puts me at complete ease. And I love that, you know? You love it.
Yeah. Dr. Sheely, when he wrote the foreword, when I stayed at his place and we did all the testing, he said, before you go home, I want to give you my rose oil. I said, why? He says, because when you're doing the healings, I smell roses.
That's the angels.
And I was like, oh, and he made the white rose oil for me.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I just didn't know. That's how I know that there's angels around. I have clients sometimes walk in and the room fills with the rose smell, and I know that they're connected to their angels. And it's just a beautiful thing. I mean, that's my clue. And I love that. I want you to share, if you wouldn't mind, because this is kind of, to a lot of people, a new terminology, even though it's not. Fifth dimension. Why don't you explain, what that means to you and how your book came about,
Yeah. It's interesting because before my near-death experiences, I never knew about any kind of dimensions or these types of theories or scientific energies. And I didn't know you could live many lives inside of one life. And after I had my 2 near-death experiences and I went into the 5th dimension and I was healed through the Holy Spirit in this higher dimensional energy with the miracle, and was brought into this energy field, which is the 5th dimension, and left the 3rd dimension, which is fear, disease, and worry, and the life that we're seeing right now, which is real heavy. All the shootings, disease, everything that's happening. The 5th dimension, how I explain it, is very simple because it's a life that has to change in all different ways. And it's like looking at the 5th dimension with so much love, unconditional forgiveness, and being open like you were when you got on stage. It's like you were like willing and open and ready is the 5th dimension. Mm-hmm. When it happens to you and you're in that zone, you can have a miracle healing. But then after you have that miracle and you get into that 5th dimensional energy, you have to stay there. Mm-hmm. And understand that you can pray, yes, you can meditate, yes. But then if you fall back down into the 3rd dimensional world, which we're in right now, when Jesus was doing his work, he was not in the 3rd dimension. He could never have walked on water. He could never have changed water into wine. He could never have done all these things in a 3rd dimensional world. He was in the 5th dimension. He loved his brothers and sisters unconditionally in the 5th dimension. We started in the 5th dimension. We fell into the 3rd dimension because of ego. Mm-hmm. When we go into the 5th dimension, and we're going into the 5th dimension, we cannot survive in a 3rd dimensional world. We cannot. We will terminate. We have to go into this 5th dimensional energy, and we are going there. But it has to go in every direction. It has to be a revolutionary enlightenment. Mm-hmm. And it is happening because more people want it. Everybody wants to go there because it's love, it's healing, it's eating better, it's organically awakening. Oh, do I want to drink out of plastic? Do I want to drink tap water, or do I want to drink mineral water? Mm-hmm. Do I want to breathe in good steam from my faucet? Mm-hmm. Do I want to be around someone that is loving and kind and positive and sweet to me? Or do I want to be around someone yelling or being aggressive and unkind? What's 5th dimensional food to 3rd dimensional food? What's a 5th dimensional store to a 3rd dimensional store? Mm-hmm. So all these things I explain in my book.
Mm-hmm.
So the fifth dimension is not only a miracle to embrace, it is a whole new way of living.
That's lovely. And I love your book because when you were talking about healthy foods, in your book, you give recipes, I believe. You're talking more about foods and not only the water, but you may recommend some supplements, or like what can we do right now? If you were to give us like one thing, would it be healthy water? And you mentioned maybe some prayer or meditation. Like how can we open ourselves up to be
Yes.
open to the fifth dimension?
I would say I would give a few things.
I know you have a lot.
I would definitely never drink out of plastic ever again in your entire life. I would drink out of glass and still grade. So when I look at people, I always see plastic instead of still grade container or glass. I would say definitely don't be deceived by a protein bar. You can never convince me there's any protein bar out there that's good for you. You definitely could always grab blueberry
candy bar
or blueberries or an apple or some sort of low sugar fruit. Definitely be careful with supplements. So I have a practice where people see me, and first things on my sheet, I ask, what kind of water do you drink? What supplements do you take? They're like, oy vey, I take so many supplements, Kimberly. And a lot of people are still taking one a day or Centrum. And one a day in Centrum has dyes in them. They actually have dyes in them still. So there are so many supplements out there that are low cost, vegetarian, vegan, that are affordable and lovely. There's so many supplements out there for everybody. It's such good news that are fifth dimensional, great for the body, that are very affordable on Amazon. I don't sell them, but I know the ones to take. Very important to boost your body spiritually, 5 to 10 minutes a day of really sitting with the omnipresent and your angels and saying not only that you're grateful for your family and friends, but you're grateful to God. You're grateful for your angels. You're grateful for your ancestors that have crossed over, connecting and meditating and breathing, getting in touch with your breath and boosting your immune system through your breath and your chakras. So meditation.
Lovely. I loved everything you just said. And so what you're reminding us is that we do have angels. Everyone has angels, right? Do we all have angels and guides?
Yeah.
And we just ask them through, like you said, taking that quiet time and asking them to come closer, asking them to step in, or asking for their help even.
I think we all have angels, but I think that not everybody is open or tapped into their angels. And that's the problem. But that doesn't mean that they can't start trying and believing and saying the prayers and seeing themselves open up to it. What do you think, Kimberly?
I am 100% on board. When I started out doing my mediumship and medical intuitive readings, it was only medical intuitive readings, and it was only healings and psychic surgery. And now I'm connecting more and more with families and soulmates and people that are trying to connect and actually get involved with my readings that have crossed over. So I was not doing crossover readings, but now people that have passed over during COVID are trying to get into my readings. And a lot of people that are soulmates of people that definitely during COVID have passed, want to be involved in their medical issues. So I'll do a reading on a client that has maybe heart condition or, kidney problems, or don't know that they have cancer. And I know it. That's my specialty, is medical intuitive, but their husband maybe has passed. So he wants to get in on the reading. And now I'm becoming that. And I want people to know that people on the other side that have passed, they're your soulmate. They're your loved one. And sometimes they are your guardian angel.
Yeah.
Like my grandmother's my guardian angel.
Mine too.
Yeah. And my little brother, he died young. He died very young. He's around me all the time too. So they're here for us and they love us.
That's beautiful. We have just a couple minutes till the break. And after the break, we were going to take calls. So if anybody wants to call in and has any questions for Kimberly about the fifth dimension, her book, her healing practices, or anything she recommends, definitely call in. Remember that the lines, they get busy, and when they get busy, it might say you have the wrong number, but it's just meaning it's busy. And remember that they answer it Voice America, so don't hang up on them, or you won't get through. Also, if you would like, you can email us. If you go to the website seeingbeyondradio.com, there's a button there. It'll take you to the email, and it has the call-in number. The call-in number that I'm going to give it to you now is 888-346-9141. So that's the number to call in after the break. So on Facebook, you'll hear us during the break. We'll kind of give you a heads up when you hear the music playing, you can start calling in. And remember the questions, Kimberly's taking questions about her book, about her practice, about recommendations. And Cheryl and I don't know, Cheryl, are we going to do any readings?
Yeah, I think maybe we'll just keep it focused for Kimberly right now. Yeah, but I just want to remind everyone, go to seeingbeyondradio.com and sign up for our newsletter, become a member of our Seeing Beyond community. Kimberly Meredith, we're going to be talking to her more about be talking to her after the break. But I just want to tell you, her book is out now on Amazon. It's called Awakening to the Fifth Dimension. So please get this book. Just the vibration of it alone is extremely healing. There's so many beautiful prayers in here also that we haven't even covered yet. But also Kimberly Meredith, you can reach her on her website, thehealingtrilogy.com. So everyone, will be right back after this break.
You are clear.
Thank you. So Facebook, you can start calling in about 2 minutes, right? Is that how long the break is? 2 minutes? And then we're just going to take calls about Kimberly right now, or any, if you want any advice on products like, or, vitamins that she recommends, things like that. She has a lot of information. And we'll be sharing that information. So give us a call in. And if you want to send an email because you can't get in, again, go to the website, seeingbeyondradio.com, and there'll be a link there to send emails. And we're checking them and doing our best to answer as many as we can. Okay. So I've got my email open. And we're also, don't forget, live on our website, seeingbeyondradio.com. So if you want to check us out there, I don't believe there's any delay.
Oh,
and you can watch
nice.
The show. Yeah. Nice. And there should be a link to email us right underneath the show. Yeah. So
Kimberly, would you like us to ask you about your Angel Club online webinar series?
Yeah, that's great. I would appreciate that. And I could talk about my maybe my Barnes and Noble event coming up.
Ooh, wonderful.
That would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, no, perfect.
We got about 40 seconds. We already have a full lineup of calls, so I'll be putting that in the chat for you so you guys can get those, okay?
Thank you.
And Kelley, will you start after the break, or?
You're really good with that, Cheryl.
All right.
I always make you, don't I?
No, it's good. It's good.
You're a natural at bringing people back. Sometimes it happens for me and I just do it. And other times it's like I fumble.
Thanks, you guys.
Oh, thank you for being
coming back.
AmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Seeing Beyond, Living Transformed with Kelley and Cheryl. If you have questions for the hosts or guests, you can join us on the show at 888-346-9141. That's 888-346-9141. Now let's get back to the show. Here again are Cheryl and Kelley.
Okay, welcome everyone. We are back with Seeing Beyond, Living Transformed, a Voice America radio show. We want to thank the Empowerment Channel for having us. We also want to thank you for being here today. We'll be taking your calls in just a moment. But first, I'd like to ask medical intuitive Kimberly Meredith just one or two more questions, if you don't mind. I also want you to know that she has a book out on Amazon right now. It's a best-selling book, Awakening to the Fifth Dimension, all right, by Kimberly Meredith, and her website is thehealingtrilogy.com. Kimberly, just two things that you want to mention. We wanted to ask you about angels because you have an Angel Club interactive online webinar series. So we want to hear about that. And then you mentioned you're going to be at Barnes & Noble coming up. So we want to get that date. We want to know where you're going to be.
Thank you, Cheryl. I'm going to be at Barnes & Noble June 12th.
Okay.
And I'll be doing mediumship readings and autograph book signing. And it's going to be at 1:00 on Sunday, and super exciting event. And you can pick up a ticket the Saturday at the farmers market and on that Sunday. So I'm really excited. It's my first book signing at Barnes & Noble in Los Angeles at the Grove.
Okay, Los Angeles at the Grove, and that's June 12th. So we'll look forward to that. Thank you. And then what about this Angel Club? Because I think it's going to be fabulous to see what you're doing about that.
Yeah, my Angel Club I started a few years ago. You buy a membership and you save a lot of money, and you get invited into my video on demand club, which is you get to watch many of the videos in the last few years. You can go into the video on demand club anytime you want, and you get to see all kinds of past speakers and all the classes we've had. And also, there's a lot of classes that are matched to each chapter of my book. So I've made some very cool classes. So like the Fifth Dimensional Path of Healing chapter. So if you read that chapter and then you go to the Angel Club class, you'll get to have a full extensive review of that chapter along with the Angel Club class.
I love it. So
really
they read
cool.
it, and then they see it visually. I love all of that. Love all of that.
Yes. And then we have a supplemental class. And then we're going to have teaching people how to write their own prayers and affirmation class.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah,
I like that.
very nice. Yeah, it's really cool.
Oh, cool. Thank you. And for more information, everyone, go to www.thehealingtrilogy.com. All right. So if it's okay with everyone, Kelley, can we go ahead and take some calls?
Yeah, let's welcome Jeff in right now. Jeff, are you here?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Jeff. How can we help you? What kind of questions do you have for Kimberly today?
I wanted to see if Kimberly had any additional input on some severe neurological confusion I've been ongoing that I'm dealing with. You guys have been helpful with, and wanted to see if she had any additional input.
Neurological issues you've had, Jeff?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm only getting, with you saying neurological, if you take a deep breath, inhale and exhale for me, so I can hear you breathe. Has it been a long time for you, or only in the last 10 months?
A long time, several years.
Yeah, because I keep getting the number 10. So I don't know if that's like the last 10 years. But have you gone to a neurologist?
I have, yes, ma'am.
And what did they say to you?
They initially could not find anything, so eventually led me to a psychiatrist.
Yeah, I keep getting the number 10. So I'm not sure if you were 10 years old or in the last 10 years you've had issues, But, without me, you can always do a private session with me and I can do a total scan on you. But without me, seeing you, they're just telling me something within the last 10 years has gone on. And, for neurological
Okay.
issues, you always want to look at your gut.
Okay.
Your gut health. And what you want to give me a little bit more information about neurological? Are you having head spins or dizzy or?
It's like a constant dizziness, and seems to be affecting other parts of my body, like my gut.
Yeah, they're telling me
my
your gut.
processing.
They're telling me your stomach and your gut, and you need to definitely take a good probiotic.
Okay.
Are you on one?
I am on one now. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know about Lyme disease. I'm not getting that. I know Kelley put Lyme disease, but I am getting that you're not getting enough oxygen to your stomach and to your brain. And I am getting it something that happened at least 10 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, and it did start around 2007-ish.
They keep telling me
That's the
over
amount.
and over again something 10 years ago. And I am getting it could be emotional and it is something physical, both. So yeah, thank you for reaching out. And I am sending you healing. My guides are sending
Thank
you
you.
healing. They're saying, heal Jeff. Heal Jeff. So please receive the healing from my guides.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling in, Jeff. We really appreciate it. And go
yeah,
ahead.
and I'm glad that you did say Lyme disease because she didn't say you had it. She just asked me if you had it, and they were not confirming that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Let's have the next caller, Evan, on. Is Evan available?
Yvonne. It's Yvonne.
Oh, Yvonne. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I can't read. It's
okay.
Thanks, Yvonne. Welcome. And how can we help you today? What kind of questions do you have for Kimberly?
I guess I think it's more, towards Cheryl or Kelley, possibly.
Okay.
I have actually, my whole life, I have had out-of-body experiences. I have been clairvoyant as far as being able to predict who's on the phone before it rings, etc. But 2 years ago, I broke my neck.
Mm-hmm.
And that was my last out-of-body experience.
Mm-hmm.
And ever since, I haven't been very well connected to the other side where I used to be. And I've had a few people pass. And I just want to know if there's anything for me.
Well, I would just like to begin that, I know this question could be for all three of us, Kimberly, Kelley, and myself, but I just want to tell you, Yvonne, you are so connected and to your loved ones and to the other side. And I'm feeling a soul connection. So, I'm feeling you're very soul connected to where it's even deeper than you were before, and that connection can still open up and still serve you. You haven't lost anything, my dear. You have only made it more accessible. It's just really finding your way that is still healing. I know these things may take some time, but I just heard the number 3 or 3 years ago. I'm not sure if you said when this happened, but that's what I'm getting for you. And I'm going to hand it to Kelley now.
Well, I do feel somebody trying to come through for you. So I feel like you've lost somebody that was very significant, like a love. Would you understand a male in the spirit that is very close to you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. He's always around you. And I feel like you talk to him all the time and he's always answering you, he says. Do you understand this?
Okay.
So he does hear you. And I think that sometimes, the fear over the accident and the fear of like losing your abilities, your gift are blocking you, because you do still have the gift. You are still very open. And I would suggest, seeing a healer like Kimberly for, anything else like that maybe is disconnected in that feeling, right? But also meditation. We can self-heal ourselves as well, and so this almost feels that you haven't lost your connection. You've lost your faith or your confidence.
Right.
Yeah, but you're still you. You're actually, I would say, more open now than you've ever been from this accident.
Okay.
I agree.
I know that one thing like that's been really prevalent for me recently is whenever I see someone get hurt, I have to turn my head because the pain is just too much.
Well,
It's funny how that happens. I used to be able to see how somebody died very vividly. I'm a very clairvoyant person. I could see it and feel it and hear it. Then when my son passed, I no longer see how anybody passed. I only feel it and get clues. And part of me doesn't want to see that anymore anyways. But it's interesting how our own grief and our own pain can affect our abilities. Sometimes it's for our own good.
You're right. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
You're
Well,
welcome.
thank you for calling in, Yvonne.
You guys have a wonderful day. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye. Cheryl, did you want to take another caller? Or what do we want to do?
Well, why don't we ask Kimberly a question about her book? Because I have a question.
Go for it.
I don't know how you came up with the title of this book, or I don't know how you came up with the idea to write the prayers like on the inside. I mean, the hardcover. I mean, it is just so beautiful. Even flipping through the book, reading parts of the book, it feels like a poem in some way, and it feels definitely like it's certainly channeled. Is that right? Yeah, channeled.
Yeah, the whole book is channeled, and I just want to say that, just in reference to the last caller too,
Yvonne.
Yeah.
Yvonne, the book is called Awakening to the Fifth Dimension for a very, very good reason. Even what she's going through, being a human right now and moving out of the third dimension is not easy. And understanding that it's painful, because we're human, and waking up into the fifth dimension and letting go of those feelings and having an awakening can sometimes not feel great. But it's good to accept who we are and understand, like I was saying, we can be reborn many times in this life and not be hard on ourselves. Yeah. So I think that not to judge ourselves and know that, like, she has a lot of gifts that are opening up right now. And that's why it feels weird. It doesn't feel good, because that's like, it's like she's becoming, a butterfly.
Yeah.
And she's waking up into the fifth dimension. When we're waking up into the fifth dimension, we're blossoming. And so it doesn't always feel great. So I'm just sending her a lot of love, and everybody. So awakening into the fifth dimension doesn't always feel great at first. But once you accept your miracle and your healing, you start to understand. So before she started to speak and I saw her come in, my guides were blinking 7. Her number 7, 7, 7, 7, meaning she needs to commit. It's like being married, both feet in all the way, no matter what, no matter how hard it is, to a daily commitment to the guides, to journaling, to taking that walk with the angels and the guides, and knowing and having the faith that her guides and her angels love her no matter what, that they're going to take her all the way to awakening her gifts. Absolutely. No matter what happens, that she is going to have her awakening, that we are all going to have our awakening, that we're all worthy of having an awakening.
Yes.
I believe that.
That's
absolutely. I
beautiful.
I love the many lifetimes in one lifetime. I love that.
Absolutely. I mean, I died and God brought me back, and I'm able to find severe illnesses in people's bodies that they don't even know they have. And then I'm able to get them into places before it spreads. And who knew that would be something that I was going to know how to do when I was just a nurse assistant over at Cedars-Sinai making $19, $15 an hour.
Right.
And then, you know, who knew I'd be doing this stuff? And so basically what my guides are saying, we never know what is going to happen.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Beautiful. It's true though.
We don't know.
And awakening is very challenging. I don't think anyone has an easy road right now, or maybe the last couple of years, definitely, but we're all in a transformational stage, aren't we? We're all just awakening at our own pace, or if you're already awakened, you're waking up more, or we're all
It's never ending.
never ending.
You know, growth is never ending. Well,
No.
we have about 6 minutes left of the show. We have 2 callers, and I have a couple questions in email, which are great questions, but I feel like we should take the callers first and then try to get to the questions. But what do you think, Cheryl?
Sure. Let's go for it, Kelley.
Okay, Bridget, if you're still on hold, come on. Welcome.
Yes, I'm here. Hi, ladies.
Hi, welcome. Thank you for calling in. What questions do you have, or how can we help you?
I have a couple, actually. I'm right on the verge of fully awakening. I'm trying to open my third eye. I don't know if it's all the way open or where I'm at with that. I'm kind of struggling with it. And my second question is, I just recently learned that I'm a Blu-ray starseed, and I was wanting to kind of confirm that, and maybe learn more. They say I have ancient wisdom to remember and bring in and work with, and I'm really trying to find it. And I need to know how to do that part. So if my meditations are enough, or if I'm what I need to look for and work with.
Great questions.
I'm excited.
That sounds amazing.
Final part. So.
And Kimberly, do you have any insight on this?
I am getting, yes, thank you, Kelley. I am getting, she is a starseed. I am getting, she has this amazing energy. They are blinking, because I get my information through my eye blinking, and they are going, yes, yes, yes. I feel like, what is her name? Bridget?
Yes.
Yeah.
Bridget, I do get, you need to stay in your heart. Don't go in the mind, get out of the mind, and just keep really honoring your awakening that you're having. It's super cool. And my eyes are going, yes, yes, blink, 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 blink. And if you pick up my book, I have 2, everything in the book is everything was channeled by the guides, like every single chapter. And they wanted so much on chakras, because when you have a chakra balancing and awakening with the Kundalini, that's when you have a full-blown awakening, when your chakras are fully blown out. So if you did get my book, I would do
that a lot, and I don't know if I'm supposed to do that Kundalini energy. So I don't know if I'm ready for that point.
I'm sorry, I'm channeling. I would definitely do the 2 chapters on chakras. And so to answer your question real quick, try not to go to 3D. I know I can hear you bounce back and forth to 3 to 5. You are moving into the 5th dimension. When you start talking about the fear, that's when you're going to stop the full awakening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bridget, for calling in. I hope that answered your questions, and good luck on your amazing journey. It's an exciting one.
Go for it.
Yes. And I would like to I would like to read a question here from Sarah. And she says, Kimberly, do you have any recommendations for high cholesterol and high inflammation?
I do. Inflammation is something I work with a lot with people. And just so I know we're running out a little bit of time, but just to talk fast, I love beetroot juice.
Mm.
I feel that's really great. I do like celery. I eat a lot of celery for inflammation. Cucumbers. There's a lot of things in my book. I talk about inflammation, but just a small glass of beetroot juice, not a lot, just like once a week, really does bring down inflammation. So I'd have to know exactly where your inflammation is, if it's in your ankles. And I'd have to do a whole overall look at everything in your body, but I'm more than happy to help you.
Well, thank you so much, Kimberly. And I don't know if we have 2 minutes. I don't think we have enough time to take Michelle. So Michelle, I'm sorry we can't take you today. We don't have enough time, but hopefully we can get to you next week. But also you could reach out to Kimberly on her website or her email, and maybe you can have an appointment with her. She's pretty amazing.
I'm at the Healing Trilogy, thehealingtrilogy.com.
Thank you. I was just going to say, Cheryl, what's the website now?
Yeah, thehealingtrilogy.com. I know, Kimberly, you have an office. Also, people could see you in person. Once again, your Barnes and Noble event's coming up June 12th in Los Angeles. So please look up on her website, thehealingtrilogy.com. Get on her newsletter. I know she can do an amazing work for you. Get her book through Amazon, Awakening to the Fifth Dimension. It's just a beautiful book to have on your shelf in your spiritual library. So thank you so much for coming today, Kimberly.
Yeah, thank you.
I just adore the both of you and this amazing show. Thank you.
What is it? There it is. That's my love.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining us to Seeing Beyond Living Transformed. Of course, I'm with Kelley Eckhart. Her website is mediumkelly.com. And I'm Cheryl Murphy. You can reach me at mediumcheryl.com. So everyone will be back next Wednesday. Please check out our radio website, seeingbeyondradio.com. It's been such a pleasure and a high vibration. Thank you so much. Many prayers, Kimberly. Many prayers, Kelley.
Bless you.
Namaste.